All right, Mr. Amechi, we've got Mr. George Itomi in the studios here with us. He is the director in Eco Disco. He's listening in to what you said, so we'll get him to respond and perhaps intermittently before we eventually let you go. So let's turn to him and get his response to some of what you said this morning. Morning, Mr. Itomi, thank you for joining us. Having listened to them, he's on his way to where they're going to picket discos nationwide. What do you think about what he said so far?
Well, it's unfortunate. I don't expect that a response to whatever grievance they have should result in disrupting the services being provided. I don't think anyone will argue with the fact that metering is at the heart of this business. And I think we've said it several times that the priority should be for everyone to be metered. But then when you want to do a robust metering plan, it must be a plan that works for everybody. When we came on board, let's not forget this industry has been in existence for close to 100 years. And if it could, everybody could not be metered in 100 years. I don't know why in 18 months you expect that that will happen. That's the first problem. The second problem is that the type of meters are important. We came and met a CAMPME program, the Accredited Advanced Metering Implementation Program, by which consumers were supposed to pay for their meters, and then this is deducted over a period of time. So it's not entirely free. It was just to create some liquidity in the system.
That's the second one. The first one, which you talked about, you said the industry has been in existence for 100 years. People will say, are you saying that it's going to take another 100 years?
No. That's not even the direction in which I'm going. What I'm just letting you know. I'll address the steps that are being taken. Now, most of these meters are prepaid meters. And as I've explained here previously, the prepaid meters are completely unreliable. So there's really no need to continue with the prepaid meters, because we will come back here and start arguing over who did what. So we decided to move on to the smart metering platform. And
many are still using the estimated ones.
Yeah, because there's a metering gap. There's absolutely no problem that there's a metering gap. What we just need is a solution that takes every one of us forward. Now, with the smart metering, we will eliminate almost completely issues to do with the amount you consume. Okay. Because that's what really is at the heart of this business.
Okay, but let me take...
so I don't lose my trend of thought.
All right.
Because Mr. Meji says in 18 months they've not metered everybody. Now, let me speak for Eco Disco. Eco Disco, we have on our books about 460,000 consumers. That's the sort of numbers we should be metering. It is not true that we've not started the metering. We've started the metering. But like I told you, we're re-metering everybody. From ppm to the smart meters. Now, just do the simple arithmetic. If you're working at very fast pace, you probably do 10,000 meters a month. And that is really at breakneck space.
We'll talk about the metering. You'll have your time to talk about the metering. But if I understood what Commander Mechi is talking about, their grouse is, why increase the tariff? And you already collected revenue for increased tariff when services and metering.
Now, that increase in tariff is a function of the entire electricity chain. It is not just the discos. There is a chain that starts with gas, generation, transmission, and distribution. The entire system is illiquid. So it is not a bankable proposition. People who go and sit and work it out, they know what they are doing. They are not unpatriotic. You must look at your electricity consumption in a holistic manner. You don't do it, you buy diesel. It's phenomenally higher. The health hazard is worse. There are estates today where people are paying far more than what MITO provides. Look at the numbers. If you burn diesel, you're doing 100 naira per kilowatt hour of electricity consumption. If you use the CNG and other methods being used, you are close to 60, 70. We're looking at a band of between 11 and 26 that's going marginally higher, so that it creates the liquidity that makes that entire system bankable. Because we must progressively get to the point where we retire your generators. That is where we need to get to. And Labour should understand this. People are not there. You won't get the investors. You won't get the banks. If you want to do business and you tell a bank to give you 100,000 naira, the first question they ask you is, so what is expected return? If you tell them 80,000 naira, you don't have a business, they won't answer you. That is the problem with the system. And it's been there. It's not caused by any one of us.
Okay.
But it's been carefully worked out. My tool is provided for under the law and is reviewed from time to time. And if we are talking about increase. By 2017, it's going to be coming down.
The prices will, tariffs will come
you
down
just
by
need
2017.
yes, you need liquidity. It is that stability the minister was talking about.
Okay,
So Labour
Commander
should
Michi,
they should understand this, and we should talk more.
did
It's
you
not the
get
time-
the explanation that has just been put across about specifically why they have to increase the tariff?
I know he was not audible enough, and I didn't want to interrupt him. But I was thinking he was more concerned about by the time they are metered that how this problem will be solved. I think that was the summary I got. That by the time they are metered, that the problem of
And that it has to do with bankability of the entire sector.
Industry.
The industry itself. If you don't increase
Bankability.
tariff, he says, it's going to be difficult to fund those businesses and they may eventually not be sustainable.
And they'll be,
yeah, but we need to be clear on one thing. You know, first is to provide service for the people. If we are saying that Nigerians are the ones to provide service for themselves, therefore they should pay in advance of such service, then we should already know that we are the one providing the power. Then we should discuss it and agree so that Nigerians will know that government has failed. Because you cannot say meter is free, for instance, and then you want to collect such money in advance so that by the time you give me that meter, it seems free. But ordinarily through the increase, I have paid for it. So what they are doing is they can manipulate the knowledge of labor. We are saying that if you want to meter, the assurance given before has failed. So how are we sure you will meter them? And without me, unless they are saying that the increase will be negotiated for certain people, not for the fees estimated billing, then all those things will be discussed. You can't just come and then impose the policy and you think under democracy so anybody can
So
adopt such
it does appear as though maybe a major grouse here is that the discussion didn't take place before these tariffs were introduced. I'm assuming that's what you're saying primarily. But then,
I believe that the discussion would have solved the problem. If they had consulted wisely, they would have known that this is the wrong time for increase. And should there be increase, the mechanism to implement such increase is not the one they have just done. 45 increase is wrong. Do you know how much Naira will pay per kilowatt in Nigeria? While in other African countries, most people they pay lesser. So we don't have power, we're paying higher. People who have power to pay less. And then eventually, how did they get there? So the Nigerians should ask themselves questions. You should know that this government of this country believes that short approach to make money. You don't increase national revenue by subverting the existing rules. Has anybody answered you why they breach and violate the court order? That on its own, we should, even though the increase is mild, we should also resist them. Because you cannot preach rule of law and then you use your power to balance judiciary.
Just a moment.
It's not